Hello, Artful Manifestors. Thank you for joining me for this timeless pick a card tarot reading. To choose your reading, you're going to choose from one of these lovely crystals I'm going to introduce to you, or one of the cards I'm about to reveal. I always align my intentions for your highest and best good, and this is a timeless reading. Whenever you come across it is when you're meant to hear it. All right, for reading number one, we have the Sunstone, and for reading number two, Baltic Amber, and for reading number three, Phosphositerite. When you decide which reading you want to listen to, just go to the description box below where you'll find a link to all the readings as well as a list of all the cards that I use. All right, let's look at the cards. For reading number one, this is the image. And for reading number two, this is the image. If you hear noises in the background, that is Agnes snoring. For reading at number three, this is the image. Agnes is my Chewini, and you can see pictures of her on Instagram if you follow me, as well as her puppies who aren't puppies anymore. All right, let your intuition guide you. Whichever crystal or image you're most drawn to is most likely the reading meant for you. Of course, you're always welcome to listen to two or even all three of the readings if you feel drawn to more than one. Enjoy your reading. Hello, reading number one. You chose the Sunstone, a carrier of solar consciousness. It activates the sacral and solar plexus chakras, radiating warmth, confidence, and vitality. It helps dispel lethargy, doubt, emotional heaviness, reminding the soul of its radiant nature. The stone calls forth the inner sovereign, the part of us that leads with self-trust and radiant authority. It is especially helpful for those reclaiming their voice or stepping into leadership after periods of self-sacrifice or people-pleasing. It's also a magnet for joy and abundance. It can protect against energy that drains us, and it awakens the sacred fire within, the creative impulse, the divine spark that fuels our artistic and life expressions, which is a perfect accompaniment to this card, the storyteller. This is not just somebody who's a keeper of tells. This is someone who is a conduit for memory, myth, and meaning. This is a person that holds the golden thread that connects the past, present, and future, and lives at the crossroads of the real and the symbolic, where spoken word becomes spell and narrative becomes nourishment. This was a real person. The picture depicts a real person, Rana, who was of a powerful lineage of wise women. who were keepers of songs, seasons, and soul language. Women who spoke not only in words, but in vibration, in root, in rune. It was her destiny to be a storyteller, and her words carried the weight of memory, not just her own, but the memory of the land, the stars, and the bones beneath her feet. This card is encouraging you to reclaim your voice, understand your personal myths, and with the Sunstone, allowing solar light of truth burn away any shame or fear around your story, and begin to write a new story. Let's get some cards and find out more about how you can do that. The Lord of Shadows, the High Priest. Look at the soul, the sun featured here, burning away those old stories and the shame, fear, doubt that accompanies it. King of Pentacles. Wonderful. Two major arcana and a king. First, let's look at the story that the cards are telling us. Immediately, I notice that they're all men. And anytime that I do a reading, it's the cards that make themselves seen that morning that call out to me to be used in the reading. I usually choose the oracle cards first and then the tarot cards. And these are the tarot cards that want it to be used. So we see the Lord of Shadows, and the fact that in this deck it's called the Lord of Shadows, and we're talking about your shadow, a story that you're telling yourself. When we see the Lord of Shadows here looking at a father and son, it could be a father and child. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. These are archetypes, right? Are male authority figures. What kind of voice do we hear from those old male authority figures? Whether they were our fathers, grandfathers, uncles, coaches, what have we internalized with those male voices? And we see a well here and a moth. It's like, and they're walking away. Their backs are turned. It's like you're turning your back on this story. You're not telling this story anymore. And in the next image, the high priest, another male figure, burning something away, burning away the shame, the fear, the doubt that came from these stories that were told. Now, it could also be that you had a woman, whether it was your mother or some other woman, a teacher, who spoke with the shadow aspects of male masculine energy. And that's the story that you're telling. Again, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, it's the shadow aspect of masculine energy and burning away the shame, the fear, the doubt that accompanies it. What I see in this bowl here is what we would call, where I live, Olympia, gathering plants that you're familiar of working with, or maybe you do some research. Either things that you grow or harvest from your area are best, but if you don't have access to that, then you're, of course, able to buy it. You just want to buy things that are clean of pesticide, put them in clean spring water, and then kind of mash that up, and you can clean your aura. Or it looks like he's holding some kind of crystal. You could use a crystal to cut cords, cut ties that attach you to these old narratives. And here we see a completely different masculine energy. He's smiling. He looks happy, warm, friendly, approachable. Even the colors in this card are more vibrant and colorful. So you're alchemizing and transmuting the masculine voice from the shadow aspects to the best aspects, because the positive aspects of the masculine voice are encouraging and strong in a soft, gentle way, protective, capable. All right, that's just from the pictures and what my guides are showing me, but let's look at what the meanings of these cards are in relation to the questions that we're asking. The Lord of Shadows in traditional decks would be the Death card. So again, there's something coming to an end. And we see he's hiding. It's like the shadows you've hidden in. Mask of politeness, armor of survival, cloaks of invisibility. All of these are going to be shed now, going out to the light. You see, they're in the light. It's inviting you into the quiet woods where the old self lays to rest and the true voice begins to stir. The loving, masculine, father internalized energy with the inner child. You're leaving behind this mask and embracing your inner child with protection. You're letting go of any outdated identities. You're honoring the version of yourself who learned to stay small, but no longer let that part of you lead. You're letting this strong, protective part of you lead. This part of you that gently protects their child, gently leads their child, gently guides, encourages, advises their child. So these old stories are dying. You could even do a ritual of a type of letter where it's like the last words, a letter from your silenced self to your becoming self. And then bury it in the soil or burn it beneath the moon. And the high priest, it's called the high priest. We see this number 5. In other decks, this would be the Hierophant. This is about bringing sacred structure and divine truth. He reminds you that your story is holy, not shameful. Shame dissolves when the truth is held in a container of reverence. And the fear around your voice is not yours. It was taught. It was something you learned. Now it must be unlearned through conscious spiritual practice. You can find or create a sacred framework to honor your story by journaling, through ritual, through song, through spiritual mentorship. Let your voice become a sacred teaching, not a confession. Shame cannot survive where your truth is recognized as ancestral wisdom. You could create an altar, a story altar, with objects from your life and lineage, and speak parts of your story aloud to the altar as if it were a beloved teacher. And the King of Pentacles is the one who builds, who plants, who prospers through action rooted in values. He says, write your story as if it's already growing in your garden. This is about sovereignty, stability, and trust in your own authority. You're no longer giving your power away. Ground your vision in action. Begin building the world your voice envisions, and surround yourself with those who see your value and reflect it back. Write your story from a place of embodiment, not longing. Think about a future memory. You could write a journal entry from a year ahead, using the present tense, describing your life, what it's like in that year. This is a powerful shift, and it's so interesting that I've mentioned this before. Masculine energy keeps coming up in the readings. So many times we see female figures. Of course, these particular 3 cards, I don't think we would have seen female figures, but even the smaller figures are male. So interesting. Big shift in how the masculine voice is being alchemized and finding its highest expression. You're reclaiming your voice by releasing the aspects of the story that were keeping you in shame, fear, and doubt. And you're burning that shame by holding your story in sacred space with reverence, with ritual. And you're writing your future by stepping into the king's grounded presence, letting your words shape your reality. So powerful, reading number 1. Wow. Definitely with the sunstone and the sun in this picture coming out of the shadows and the vibrancy of this image. Get some vitamin D from the sunshine. Do some kind of sun ritual. Of course, always work with the sun in a safe way, but let it burn away what was never truly yours. Reading number 1, please let me know if this resonates. I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 2. You chose Baltic Amber, one of my favorites. It holds the energy of ancient wisdom, earth memory. Baltic Amber is a record keeper. Within it, the memory of forests long vanished and slow rhythm of time itself. It can help you access ancestral guidance, past lives, earth-aligned consciousness, and it connects us with this deep time perspective beyond worry, urgency, or confusion. Slows down energy and expands your vision. It's said to carry the frequency of the sun. It's connected with solar healing, light infusion, warming, uplifting, and gently energizing. It is excellent for lifting your spirits if you're feeling depressed. It can ease seasonal sadness, restore joy after a period of grief or fatigue, and it clears emotional heaviness and infuses the auric field with golden light. Which, funny, is what yesterday's reading was called Golden Light Awakening. So, wow. Let me know if you already saw that reading. It's also a protective energy, purifying energy. It clears away stagnant energy, wards off negative attachments, purifies the energetic body. It acts as a natural filter. It empowers communication and confidence, resonating with the solar plexus and throat chakra. It encourages confident self-expression and authenticity, and it helps soften inner judgment, that inner critic, and can give you a little boost of courage to speak with clarity and joy. It's especially helpful for those reclaiming their light after a long silence or burnout. And it boosts your vitality and your energetic flow, promotes healthy chi, life force energy. It reminds us that healing doesn't always come from pressure, but from warmth, flow, and illumination. And then we have the goat, and it's always going to be greatest of all time for me now, but I feel like greatest of all time goes perfectly with goat energy, because goats are mountain climbers. They're sure-footed. If you see them climbing, they do it with such ease, such little effort, and it seems like they're having fun as they ascend. They are a symbol of perseverance and soul determination, teaching us to keep going, even if the path is steep and narrow. Goat offers stamina through focused alignment. Remember, goat does this with ease, trusting her instincts, knowing how to climb without burning out. They're symbols of self-sufficiency and inner authority. And it's saying, you know the way because you are the way. And again, doing this, their effort is sacred because it's their way and it's joyful. It's not part of the sacrificing yourself, martyrdom, or hustle culture. All right, let's see what we can find out from the tarot cards. All right, the Knight of Chalices, the Ten of Athame, and the Wheel of the Year. The Knight of Chalices is a card's the energy of this card is about proposals, offerings. Sometimes it's a wedding proposal, but in the context of this reading, it's like you're offering something to yourself. When we think about marriage, there is loyalty and devotion, and it's like you're creating this bond with yourself, with your goals, your path that has that type of loyalty and devotion and love. This knight is a heart-led seeker. So there's not a map, there's intuition guiding him. So he reminds us that self-belief is rekindled through connection to your soul longing, your emotions, your beauty, your inner knowing, your heart. To reignite belief in your path, to know that you know the way because you are the way, is to follow what moves your heart. To let your next steps be guided by desire. To return to rituals that make you feel like yourself, make you feel empowered, powerful, excited. It could be solitude moments under a starry sky. Music that empowers you, that outfit that empowers you, poetry, visiting places of water, art. The Ten of Athame, what I see in this image is somebody that is making the decision to not worry about what other people think. And this is closely tied to this card, the energy of this card. This is trusting in yourself, not in the opinions of others. I don't know if you can see because it's kind of dark, but there's a little family of wild boar here. And it's like you see they're outside of these athame swords. This would be the suit of swords in other decks. Little knives, little athame. We can think of those as words, thoughts, whether they're hers or others. She has turned them into a boundary. She's not going to let these little pigs in, right? And they're not entering. She is doing her thing under the night sky, cooking something up, creating something that is solely hers, and not letting others' opinions have any effect on her. This is a sacred ending. Enough of overthinking, enough of caring about the opinions of others. Those opinions have no place on the mountain that you're climbing. So this is a cord cutting with the voices that never truly saw you. They can't see your vision. So why give their opinion any weight, any time? This is a ritualized goodbye to people pleasing, over apologizing, self editing. The burial of inherited beliefs that no longer serve your becoming. You could even do a little ritual and write down the names, judgments, beliefs that you internalized from others. Burn them or bury them. Free yourself. And I see this happening because it is a 10, so that's the end of a cycle. And we see the beginning of a new cycle with the wheel. This is a seasonal turning. This is you following your rhythms, a divine yes, a reminder that life is cyclic, And your time is now. You ascend joyfully by aligning with the energy that's already lifting you. Let yourself be carried by the momentum you've already created. Trust that what is meant for you is turning toward you. Say yes to what's opening. Celebrate the small milestones as well as the big ones. The goat doesn't reach the peak in a single bound. And the goat enjoys each step, knowing the mountain was made for them to climb. You know that this path was made for you. It's meant for you, and you were meant for it. That's the sacred union here, the offering. The path is offering itself to you. Your joy is sacred fuel. Your voice is the map. And the next season is already arriving. You don't need permission or approval. You are the path. Reading number 2 is so powerful. So excited for you. Please let me know if this resonates. I love reading your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 3. You chose the Phosphositerite. And after handling the Baltic amber, this is pretty weighty, very dense. It connects us to higher realms and spirit guides, opens the crown and third eye chakra while staying rooted in the heart. It helps quiet the mental noise so you can clearly hear spiritual guidance, especially messages from ancestors, angels, ascended aspects of your own soul. It's especially helpful for mediumship development, receiving downloads during meditation or dreams or daydreams, and deepening trust in your intuitive nudges. It radiates a calming mothering energy, and it really does feel beautiful to hold. It gently soothes anxiety, grief, inner turmoil, helping to repair the nervous system. It holds a frequency of compassion that helps regulate emotions and supports healing from spiritual fatigue or burnout. It helps align you with your soul purpose and dharma. It awakens what you came here to do through a deep remembering and guides you to your soul path like a violet flame, illuminating your gifts and gently nudging you toward them. It's an ally for realignment. And it carries a refined, divine, feminine frequency. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It opens the heart to receive love without fear, to be nourished by spirit, and to walk your path with gentle strength and intuitive grace. I had to pause there for a minute because right on cue, talking about this energy, Cora came in, and she is actually my son's dog. So loving, so cuddly and loving, just has so much love to give, and such a sweet, gentle dog. So goes perfect with the energy of Phosphositerite and that sacred feminine spiritual grace frequency. If you want to see what Cora looks like, you can follow me on Instagram. There's pictures of her there. All right, this card, the Explorer, is about wonder, courage, longing for what lies beyond the familiar, expansion. So when we pair this with Phosphositerite, it's not just expansion in physical terrains, but spiritual journeys. This is a person who lives by the pull of something more, because your soul was designed to grow through experience, seeking possibly distant lands, but also new perspectives, new truths, new parts of yourself. Someone who thrives on curiosity, letting curiosity be their compass, and discovery their devotion, taking risk as a sacred right. So let's find out more about this expansion. Where you're being pulled to. The High Priest. The Crone. And the Queen of Pentacles. All right, first, what my guides are showing me, how you can let curiosity be your compass, is by reading the signs and synchronicities. It's like he's looking at how the sunlight is hitting his hand. Maybe he's even holding something in his hand. He's receiving guidance from the cosmos, from nature, reading the signs. So you're interpreting signs just like somebody that would be traveling, right? They would be able to interpret signs along the way of if there's an animal nearby, if there's water nearby. So you can let your curiosity be the compass by interpreting signs, and what part of you is waiting to be discovered is, this is the Crone, which is the Strength card, and what we see here is wisdom and strength. So this is what's waiting to be discovered, this part of you. And what you're expanding into is peace, rooted in trusting yourself, trusting the flow of life, rooted in your connection to nature and your connection to higher aspects of yourself. Now, the High Priest, in other decks, it would be the Hierophants, card number 5, teaches that curiosity doesn't always look like wild rebellion. Sometimes it's found in the sacred questions within tradition. So you might, instead of breaking the rules, ask questions to understand the soul behind them. It's like an archaeologist or an anthropologist digging and unearthing some ancient truth. You may begin to be guided to seek wisdom from mentors, guides, ancient texts, ancient rituals. Let your questions deepen your connection to the sacred. Follow curiosity into devotional learning, astrology, herbalism, folklore, ancient myths, or spiritual lineage. But follow your questions like holy threads, the ones that excite you. Each one is leading you to a deeper truth, and you're going to see a connectedness, a web, how they're all branches on the same tree. The crone holds unclaimed power of your soul. This is the you that doesn't perform, doesn't please, doesn't explain. This is the part of you that already knows, but has waited patiently for you to be ready to remember. Your untamed knowing, the ability to sit in uncertainty without fear, not feeling pressured or a sense of urgency. The wisdom that comes from witnessing. You're not proving anything. This is complete confidence. Even if you don't know the answers, there's confidence in that. You have access to intuitive and ancestral gifts that have yet to be fully claimed. This is a part of yourself that you're discovering. It's these gifts. Any part of you that has felt exiled for being too much, too young, too old, too intense, is actually your source of power. And you're rediscovering the part of you that you left behind and welcoming it home. The Queen of Pentacles is abundant, nurturing. It's perfect for the Phosphositerite, nurturing, sovereign in the material world. And she doesn't separate her spiritual growth from her earthly life. She embodies both. You're expanding into a life that is rooted and radiant, creating beauty, comfort, and stability that nourishes not only yourself, but others. And you're beginning to embody divine feminine leadership. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We all have masculine and feminine energy. This is a grounded, wise nurturer who creates safe space for others to thrive. You expand into embodied grace. You tend your life like a sacred garden. And what we have here is sacred study, deep reclamation, and earthly embodiment. With this Phosphositerite, I see you embodying something that you're channeling. You know, again, what they're showing me is that you are connecting to these higher aspects of yourself, and you're embodying, anchoring that energy into the physical form. So this explorer is going out. It's like this amazing story of some archaeologist or anthropologist going out, finding all these things that are actually part of their own story, part of themselves, reclaiming all of these powers, something connected to your ancestors. Wow. Reading number 3. This sounds amazing. I want to go on this adventure. I want to do this exploration. I hope this resonates. Please let me know if it does. I'm excited for you. And I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye.